This is the response from Sky News to what happened at Glastonbury. So I'm just going to play this one.
Police are investigating comments made by performers Bob Vylan and Kneecap at Glastonbury. The rap-punk duo Bob Vylan led crowds at the festival's West Holt stage in chants of "Free, Free Palestine" and "Death, Death to the IDF," before Irish rap trio Kneecap suggested fans start a riot outside one member of the band's upcoming court appearance. Well, Emma Birchley has been following this story for us and joins us from the newsroom. Emma, what more can you tell us?
Yes, police this evening are assessing videos of what was seen on the West Holt stage at Glastonbury. Two acts who are both being looked at. The BBC has responded to what was shown on the television during that Bob Vylan set. They've described it as deeply offensive, and they've put up a warning on screen, they said at the time, about what they called very strong and discriminatory language, and they made it very clear that they would not be putting that show, that element of the festival, up on iPlayer for other people to watch. Now, there has been a very swift response across the board. The government has put out this statement: "We strongly condemn the threatening comments made by Bob Vylan at Glastonbury. The Culture Secretary has spoken to the BBC Director General to seek an urgent explanation about what due diligence it carried out ahead of the Bob Vylan performance, and welcomes the decision not to rebroadcast it on BBC iPlayer." It's been described too by the Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch as grotesque. She said it isn't a protest, it's incitement. And there has been a response too from the Israeli embassy. This is what they've had to say in a statement. The Embassy of Israel in the United Kingdom is deeply disturbed by the inflammatory and hateful rhetoric expressed on stage at the Glastonbury Festival. When such messages are delivered before tens of thousands of festival goers and met with applause, it raises serious concerns about the normalisation of extremist language and the glorification of violence. So the Glastonbury Festival back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
But I'm just going to kind of dive into this, which I think is an absolutely hilarious clip. And I loved it because when I was looking at Twitter, if you want to laugh, have a look and see what people are saying. I mean, for example, I love the suggestion from somebody that in terms of this, what is a cat and mouse sort of exercise, just like happened with the suffragettes, something I brought up last week. You know, Palestine Action should change their name to Yvette Cooper so that actually we would all know what it stood for, but they couldn't ban the name Yvette Cooper. The thing is, what is plain and obvious is where the majority of the world's people stand. We hate what's going on. We despise the IDF and all their apologists. And like I've always said, we must not let these people talk around our streets without confronting them and their ideas. Now, what I did think was really bad, I heard a clip, Aaron Bastani from GB News, going on GB News. Now, he did what he always does in these situations, and no doubt that's why they've been able to become so successful, because when they did this big spiel, they showed the Sky clip, Aaron Bastani then came on and he said, well, you know, basically, no, I don't agree with what they've said, but I am a free speech advocate. Here he is being given a platform to actually talk about what's going on for the perspective of the left, and that's what he does. Now, let's just look on the other side, though, of what's going on. And you don't have to kind of shake up your memories very hard to understand how actually choosy they are of what they don't like. I mean, we all remember the numerous Israeli broadcasts that have called and insisted for the death of every Palestinian, that have called Palestinian rats. We all remember the IDF video still going on now. A whole school was blown up yesterday in Gaza with women and children inside, and they took a video of it and planted it on our screen. How dare the Israeli embassy complain about what is the call? Actually, it's a call for a response against war crimes. We all remember Netanyahu's comments about Amalek. Again, a call to genocide. And actually, do you remember? Let's have a look about the BBC. When the BBC defended the so-called joke that was on Have I Got News for You about them bombing Corbyn supporters. Do you remember that? And that was just a joke. Do we remember the poster of Corbyn that was being used for target practice by British soldiers? Because I remember it. And do we remember what was he? He was one of the chairs or on the executive of the British Board of Deputies, who again called for Corbyn, I think, to be killed or shot at or whatever. So they're very particular on what they consider is acceptable in terms of calls for action. We on the left, we've actually been very restrained on this. They have declared a war on the left. They have declared a war on the Palestinian people, a genocidal war, and then they complain about this, which is it's obviously what it is. Do you know what's going to happen? This is going to rile up every young people. Young people love this kind of thing because they get in and it's a way to resist. They dance and they resist. And I say, good on them. More of it. And when I go to the next festival, which is actually going to be beautiful days in the political tent, I absolutely assure you, the kind of support for Palestine, the kind of critique on what's happening with our government who dares talk like this while sending armaments to Israel for those genocidal fuckers will be enormous. Keep it on, keep it up.